Corporation's Facebook page, and we welcome you to this live coverage. As you said, Cassius, we're live this afternoon at the Calder Village, Calder Main Road, as a matter of fact. And this afternoon, it's the occasion of a renaming ceremony that's taking place here at Calder. And for those who are joining by way of television, you'll see the visuals of the arrival of His Excellency President of the Republic of India, His Excellency Ramnath Kovind. He's here on a 3-day visit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It started yesterday with his arrival at the Argyle International Airport, and there was a welcoming ceremony there. And today it is the occasion for the renaming ceremony here in Calder. And as we are coming to you live at this time, I can tell you that there's an anticipation as it relates to this ceremony here this afternoon. The chairperson for the proceedings, our General Manager, Ms. Dion John, and we will, of course, bring you all the coverage. The Honorable Prime Minister arrived here earlier this afternoon, about 5 minutes ago, and he was closely followed by His Excellency the President Kovind, and it's quite a large gathering here this afternoon, I must add. I would tell you that there's a large gathering of those of Indian descent, not just from the Calder area, but the surrounding areas. In addition, the presence of those who are working or residing otherwise due to the various posts or medical schools are present in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we have the doctors and all of those in training at the medical schools who are present here this afternoon. We also have the presence of some of the faculty of the various medical schools as well. And as we get ready to start this ceremony here, we hope that you would stay with us and that you continue to enjoy the rest of our broadcast of this occasion.
After I wish to ask you to remain standing for national anthems of the Republic of India and the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which will be played on pan by Saeed Bowman. Please stand.
So the arrangement being put in place to facilitate the playing of the national anthems of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and that of the Republic of India. And I believe shortly we'll get that going. I see seating at the front, or standing at this time, previously seated, the Honorable Prime Minister standing alongside His Excellency the President and his wife. Will listen in for the national anthems.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Trilochana, Nagendra Hara, Trilochana, भस्म अंगराय महेश्वराय भस्म अंगराय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकराय नमः शिवाय नागेन्द्राय मंदाकिनी सलील चंदन चर्चिता मंदाकिनी सलील चंदन चर्चिता नंदीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वरा मंदार पुष्प बहु पुष्प सुपूजिता मंदार पुष्प बहु पुष्प सुपूजिता तस्मै मकराय नमः शिवाय नागेन्द्रहराय त्रिलोचनाय नागेन्द्रहराय शिवाय गौरी वदन भज वृंद सूर्याय दक्षधरना श्रीनीलकण्ठ नीलकण्ठ वृषध्वजा तस्मै शिखराय नमः शिवाय वशिष्ठ कुंभोद्भव गौतम आर्य मुनीन्द्र देवार्चित शेखराय चंद्वार्क वैश्वानर लोचन तस्मै बकराय नमः शिवाय यक्षस्वरूपाय जटाधराय नागहस्ताय सनातनाथ दिव्याय देवाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय सन भगत 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 सन ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय
Just a bit of a slight adjustment in the program there. Unexpected adjustment in the order of things, but started off with some entertainment. But now I see arrangements being put in place for the national anthem of the Republic of India and that of St.
Please
Vincent
stand
and the
for the
Grenadines.
national anthems, which will be played by Said Bowman. We'll first have the national anthem of the Republic of India, and this will be followed by the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you very much, Saeed. Please be seated. Dr. the Honorable Ralphie Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Mrs. Gonsalves. His Excellency, the Honorable Shri Ram Nath Kovind, President of the Republic of India, and Madam First Lady Savita Kovind. The Honorable Montgomery Daniel, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport, Works, Lands and Physical Planning of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Honorable Frederick Stevenson, Minister of Public Service, Consumer Affairs and Sports and Parliamentary Representative for South Windward. The Honorable Julian Francis, Minister of Urban Development, Energy, Airports, Seaports, Grenadines Affairs and Local Government. Other Ministers of Cabinet of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Honorable Pankaj Chaudhry, Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance in the Republic of India. The Honorable Members of Parliament, Sri Satish Kumar and Rama Devi. The Honorable K.P. Tripath, Secretary to the President of the Republic of India. The Honorable Sharup Kumar, Foreign Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs. His Excellency Dr. S. Balachandran, High Commissioner of the Republic of India to SVG. Distinguished members of the Indian President's Delegation. Mrs. Sandy Peters Phillips, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Senior public servants. Mr. Junior Bacchus, President of the Indian Heritage Foundation. The executive members of the Indian Heritage Foundation and other members of the foundation. Representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, and in particular, the community of Calder. Good afternoon. We've come to you this afternoon. Congrats, welcome. This is a big day for you. And we certainly are happy to be here this afternoon. But to move the official welcome this afternoon, I'd like to bring to address you the minister who is the parliamentary representative for this area, the Honorable Frederick Stevenson. Put your hands together and welcome him as he comes to do the official welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Master of Ceremonies, Dr. the Honorable Ralph V. Gonzalez, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Mrs. Gonzalez, His Excellency, the Honorable Sri Ram Nath Kovind, President of the Republic of India, and Madam First Lady Savita Kovind, the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Minister Montgomery Daniel, the Minister of Transport Works, Lands and Physical Planning, the Honorable Julian Francis, the Minister of Urban Development, Energy, Airports, Seaports, Grenadines Affairs and Local Government, other cabinet colleagues, the Honorable Pankaj Chaudhry, Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, the Republic of India, Honorable Members of Parliament, Sri Satish Kumar and SMT Rama Devi, Honorable K.P. Tripath, Secretary of the President of the Republic of India, Honorable Surab Kumar, Foreign Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs, His Excellency Dr. Bala Chandran, High Commissioner of the Republic of India to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, distinguished members of the Indian President's Delegation, Mrs. Sandy Peters Phillips, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, senior public servants, Mr. Junior Bacchus, President of the Indian Heritage Foundation, executive members of the Indian Heritage Foundation and other members of the foundation. I recognize in our presence this afternoon His Excellency Senior Lewis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines High Commissioner to England, students and teachers of the St. James University here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, students and teachers of the Calder Primary School, members of the media, the Indian media who are covering this event live, our own local media, ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant good afternoon. I'm very humbled and honored as a parliamentary representative of this beautiful constituency of South Windward to welcome you to the community of Calder. Calder is one of those villages. When you look across there, you'd see the international airport at Argyle, and that was where the Indian indentured servants came to work here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines many, many years ago. And after the indentureship period, many of those persons who left the Argyle facility, the Argyle Works, came and lived in these areas, Calder, Richland Park, Georgetown, and Rosebank here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And Calder remains the largest Indian community in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I want us to put our hands together for the community of Calder. In this particular community, we have very outstanding persons of Indian descent who have excelled well in many spheres of life. I want to recognize here this afternoon Dr. Sinclair Thomas. Dr. Sinclair Thomas is our first and I believe our only ENT specialist here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There are other very important persons who came out of this community of Calder, and I mentioned the name His Excellency Senior Lewis. I recognize in the presence Mrs. Batiste, who owns and operates a sewing industry here in Calder. And there are many more, too numerous to mention. Business personnel, persons who have doctors, and of course, I cannot forget Pastor Dermot Batiste, the leading Seventh-day Adventist and the head of the Seventh-day Adventist mission here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Your Excellency, it is indeed a very special privilege for me to welcome you to Calder and to the community, the constituency of South Windward. And we hope that you'd enjoy your stay this afternoon with us as we embark on this very important activity of renaming this recently refurbished portion of road, the India Drive here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I know that the people of Calder and St. Vincent and the Grenadines would be very happy and are very happy for this very important gesture. Once again, I welcome you to Calder and thank you for choosing St. Vincent and the Grenadines for your state visit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Stevenson. Well, when you come to communities like these in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it is customary that you will get some form of cultural entertainment by the schools within the community. This afternoon is of no exception. Please put your hands together and welcome for me. They called a government school with their choral speech presentation this afternoon. Please put your hands together, welcome them as they come. You need to give them some encouragement.
It appears for some reason we we're unable to get the audio of the choral speech. Let's see if we can have that resolved for you. But this is live coverage of the ceremony at Calder for the renaming of the Calder Road. Hopefully, we'll get that audio issue sorted. We hear the music accompanying a dance piece that is being performed by the students. They're certainly enjoying themselves, doing a bit of the dance as well, and much to the entertainment of the Indian delegation. So a performance there rather from some of the students and well received by the Indian delegation here. Of course, the president, His Excellency Ramnath Kovind and Mrs. Kovind are seated at the front and certainly enjoying these performances along with their daughter Swati is also there and of course, the Honorable Prime Minister will be speaking momentarily here at Calder. And we hope that you're able to stay with us here across the various platforms, NBC Radio, VC3 Television, and the Agency for Public Information.
Ladies and gentlemen, the community of Calder, our visiting guests and friends, I would like to present to you our Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves, to address us this afternoon. Prime Minister Gonsalves.
So we get ready now to hear from the Honorable Prime Minister.
Madam Chairperson, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of India, his dear wife, and very beautiful daughter who has captivated the hearts and minds of the children of this country, and from reports, the young men of this country too. The members of cabinet, my cabinet colleagues, the very distinguished members of the delegation of His Excellency, the leadership and members of the Indian Heritage Foundation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is doing magnificent work in strengthening the ties between our country and India. All those who have thus far performed culturally and those who have prayed, our visitors, I understand there are many from Suriname, welcome. I understand there are some who have come from the United States of America. I see our High Commissioner, Your Excellency, in London, the longest serving diplomat of our country. He's from this community. He came in from India. Yes, you know, Louis, a wonderful man. And of course, the people of Calder, especially so the children. Today is a magnificent day. It is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice in it. I commented earlier to some persons as I went around before you arrived, Your Excellency, and said to them, first of all, that today is a great day. It's a day of tremendous significance for the civilization, the joint of the civilization of India and that of the Caribbean and its Vincentian component. But very importantly, the spirit of the forebears of the persons today of Indian descent, those persons who crossed the dark waters, nearly 2,500 who came here as indentured servants. They would be very proud as to what we have done together, Your Excellency. It is a very moving and emotional time for all of us, not only persons of Indian descent. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has an amazing population mix. Our indigenous people, the Garifuna and the Kalinago, who struggled against colonialism, and the British carried out extensive genocide against them. The enslavement of African bodies, and I use this forum to reiterate our just and justiciable demand for reparations from the British for native genocide and the enslavement of our African brothers and sisters who were brought here as slaves. The mix involves indentured servants from Madeira, and of course, between 1861 and 1881 from India. And later, arrivals from the Middle East. And the descendants too of the Anglo-Saxon planter merchant elite. Through the fever of history and through an incredible creolization, we have become one, an integrated whole. As I said today in Parliament, a veritable symphony. Of course, as in all symphonies, from time to time, there are dissonances. But those dissonances are muted or resolved through the cultural well springs which have grown up or through our formal institutions. And I say that this metaphoric symphony consists of the songs of the indigenous people. We are the rhythm of Africa. We are the melody of Europe. We are the chords of India. And we are the homegrown lyrics of the Caribbean. You saw it in the children from Calder School who performed so well before us here this afternoon. Think of it. And while we celebrate the Indian dimension of our cultural matrix and of our civilization, it is not separate, it is part of a social solidarity in our country. And in these hills, which are joyful together, and on the plains, and on the seashores, and through the pain and yet the joy of history, the persons of Indian descent rose against hardship and adversity. And today, they are making in several areas of life, living, and production towering contributions. From top professionals to craftsmen and women to business people to persons in restaurants and in culture and in music, in the arts. An amazing fusion has occurred. And though colonialism sought to rip India from them, India remains. And India has grown in us. And it has grown not in a divisive manner, but in a way to uplift all of us. And for us to have a world of peace, of security, and prosperity for all nations and all peoples. Your Excellency, in 1882, the Indians who were brought here as indentured servants, they did not take their pain and suffering lying down. From here in Argyle, barefooted, in tattered clothing, they walked the 8 miles of rugged terrain as it was in the 19th century to put their complaints about their living conditions to the colonial administrator. The very place where we signed our memoranda today. The very area which we drove. And when you're driving back, Your Excellency, to your hotel this evening, and when you're going to the banquet tonight, I know you will remember, and I remember, those persons and their indomitable spirit to ensure that in this new land, they have a life of decency. And over the years, they have adapted. There's been a fusion. They have lost some things, but they have found others. And this losing and this finding, they have arrived at a higher plateau of understanding and embracing the majesty of the civilization of India. We see, as you noted today in Parliament, in your moving speech, Your Excellency, that public policy, when conjoined with the spirit of the people, we can move mountains. We can do mighty things. We have had formal diplomatic relations, but I think the record will show that the meetings between Prime Minister Modi, my dear friend, and myself in New York and in India, that through those conversations, many practical ventures and initiatives have emerged. And I'm quite sure that when you were planning this trip to come to the Caribbean, my friend Prime Minister Modi must have advised, please consider going to see my friend Ralph. I know that Trinidad is jealous. I know Guyana is, and Suriname. Well, your time will come. Your time will come. It's our time now. When you think of it, India, a country of 1.38 billion people, in communion with St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 110,000. The fifth largest economy in the world, of $3.3 trillion US, linking with an economy of 870 million. And the numbers go on. It tells you that India, despite its enormous power and strength and growing importance in the world, has a lot of time for small island developing states like St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we thank you very much. And there is no hegemony. I say to you that Prime Minister Modi has never, ever asked of St. Vincent and the Grenadines a favor. Our conversations are always on the basis of equality. We speak, and independently, we come to conclusions which are in sync with one another and in our mutual interests. And that is how friendship is built. I will give briefly the story about how we got 40,000 Covishield vaccines. We had money to buy. Nobody will sell us in those days. You remember vaccine nationalism? People tend to forget that. When the Western world was hoarding the vaccines and we couldn't get any to buy, I wrote my friend Prime Minister Modi. And in 2 days, the response came, you will get your 40,000 doses of vaccine. Within 1 week, they were here at Argyle International Airport. And very importantly, and this is why I will never forget, and I will never be ungrateful, and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will never forget and will never be ungrateful to the government and people of India. At that time, India did not have enough vaccines for itself. And the Indian government and people and its leadership, they taught us an important lesson in solidarity. The noblest form of solidarity is not to give from the abundance that you have, but from the little that you possess. It is the story in the theology of our Bible about the widow's mite, which is reflected too, I've been advised, in the Hindu faith, the same proposition. Your Excellency, the naming of this India Drive. India Drive is embraced by the people of Indian descent here, by the descendants of the Kalinago and the Garifuna, the descendants of Africa, the descendants from Madeira, the descendants from the Anglo-Saxon planter merchant elite, from the Arabs and all ethnicities in our country. India Drive is ours. And we say, thank you, India. Even though those who came here came not entirely voluntarily, they have so enriched our lives and our nation that we say, out of evil cometh good. Long may the relations exist between the people of India and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you, Your Excellency, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves has requested, and it will be done through our cultural ambassador, Saeed Bowman. Saeed Bowman has a special tribute and a treat for the Honorable President. We hope you enjoy. Thank you very much, Saeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Moving along with our program, and I now invite His Excellency Dr. S. Balachandran, the High Commissioner of the Republic of India to SVG. And this afternoon, he is going to invite His Excellency the President to address the Indian community. Ambassador.
Honorable Rashtrapati Ji, Madam First Lady Srimati Savita Koenji, the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Montgomery Daniel, Honorable Minister, Mr. Frederick Stephenson, Honorable Minister of State for Finance of India, Sri Pankaj Chaudhary, Honorable Members of Parliament, Sri Satish Kumar Gautam, Srimati Ramadevi, senior officers of the government of SVG, distinguished members of the President's delegation, President SVG Indian Heritage Foundation, Mr. Junior Bacchus, Executive Committee members, SVG Indian Heritage Foundation, distinguished guests of the Indian diaspora, friends of India, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar and good evening. Honorable Rashtrapati Ji, we are indeed grateful that you had consented to visit St. Vincent and the Grenadines, despite the visit being postponed twice before. I think the strong affection and love of the people of SVG has brought you finally to this heavenly country. That your first ever visit to SVG happening during my tenure, and the opportunity has come to me to welcome you and the First Lady on behalf of the Indian community here is a great honor and privilege in my life and career. Respected sir, your visit is happening as the 161st anniversary of the Indian Arrival Day in SVG is approaching in a fortnight now on 1st June. The Indo-Vincentians and the Indian community here are extremely delighted that you have chosen to visit SVG in the year of 75 years of India's independence. The Indo-Vincentians have decided to mark your visit with a celebration of the Indian Arrival Day, this time with a special reenactment of the arrival of their ancestors 161 years ago. Honorable Rashtrapati Ji, the Indo-Vincentians are completely assimilated with the mainstream, but yet have a greater sense of pride for the Indian heritage and culture. Their strong belief that a good education is a key has led to many a success story among them. They take immense interest in regularly hosting our delegations, visiting the island, and being associated with any Indian celebration like International Day of Yoga. Respected sir, the government of SVG has been appreciative of the contribution of Indo-Vincentians and acknowledged it by declaring 1st June as the Indian Arrival Day and 7th October as the Indian Heritage Day. Today, the government has gone a step further and made the dream come true by renaming the Calder Road as India Drive. The government has also agreed to consider allotting a piece of land for building an Indian cultural and archival center. I must recall and acknowledge the contribution of India's great friend, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, in all these achievements. That this event is happening as a government initiative is one more testimony of his desire for a strong Indo-Vincentian, India-Vincentian friendship. Honorable Rashtrapati Ji, your visit has further cemented this age-old links with SVG, the discussions that you had with the leadership and the development projects ongoing and envisaged will take our partnership with SVG to a higher level than before. Both India and SVG are friends in need. Your visit to as a first major visit by any foreign head of state after SVG has opened its borders post pandemic and volcanic eruption will sure herald a new era of prosperity and well being for both our peoples and mark a milestone in strengthening and deepening the historic best of relations between India and SVG. In this background of propitiousness of your visit, Honorable Rashtrapati, may I now have the honor of inviting you to kindly address this August gathering. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
So, the High Commissioner based in Suriname, responsible for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ambassador Balachandra, introducing the president and inviting him to speak to the Indian community here in Calder this afternoon. As we come to you live across the various platforms of NBC Radio, VC3 Television 114, VC3 Facebook page, also the NBC and API Facebook pages. We're live across all of the various platforms as we await the address by His Excellency Sri Ramnath Kovind, the 14th President of the Republic of India.
Honorable Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Rolf Gonsalves, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport, Works, Lands and Surveys and Fiscal Planning, Mr. Montgomery Daniel, Honorable Minister of the Public Service, Consumer Affairs and Sports, Mr. Frederick Stevenson, President of SVG Indian Heritage Foundation, Mr. Junior Backus, Executive Committee members of the Foundation, members of the Indian community, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskar. Bharat Mata ki Jai. First of all, I congratulate the artist who performed in the very beginning, a symbol of Indian civilization. It is known as Bharatnatyam. I am happy that Indian culture and Indian civilization is being preserved and maintained in a country which is far away. We can say 15 to 16,000 away from India. And please, I do request all Indians who have settled down here, who have made this country as their home, please do maintain your Indian identity also. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to meet you today in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I bring with me the greetings from your brothers and sisters in India. Right from the time I landed in your beautiful country, my delegation and I have been received with tremendous warmth and affection, and you have made us feel really special. I am truly grateful for your hospitality. Friends, in the last 42 years, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have created a democratic, plural, and multi ethnic society full of optimism and progress. The economic achievements of this small but vibrant country are laudable. Under the wise guidance of generations of far-sighted leaders, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have transformed this island into an impressive example of peace and prosperity in the Caribbean. I'm glad to know that members of the Indian community living here have adopted this land as their own. They live in peace and harmony with other communities and are making rich contribution to the development of SVG. As a result of their positive approach, the Indian diaspora commands respect and affection in SBG. The declaration of 1st June as Indian Arrival Day in St. Vincent and 7th October as Indian Heritage Day marks the importance that this country attaches to its Indian connection. Indeed, it will be a proud moment for me and the Indian community when I will unveil the sign renaming Calder Road to India Drive shortly. Friends, our developmental partnership with St. Vincent and the Grenadines is based on the spirit of universal brotherhood. We want to support our brothers and sisters here in building a stronger St. Vincent and the Grenadines with infrastructure projects that add value to the well-being of the people. I would also urge all of you to connect with the new India, its immense journey and rapid economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, I once again express my heartiest appreciation to the Indian diaspora and Indians living in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You reflect India's rich diversity, cultural heritage, and traditions. We are proud of you and your achievements. As you all know, we believe in the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the entire humanity, the entire world is our own. And there is a filmy song in India, Bollywood film, which says, Suno suno a dunya walo, चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, हम है हिंदुस्तानी, सबसे आगे हिंदुस्तानी. Excellency, Mr. Prime Minister, this means that we Indians always remain ahead to support the entire human being, to support the entire globe, and to support the entire humanity. In the last, I wish you and members of your families a very bright future, full of prosperity, peace, and health. We look forward to welcoming our Pravasi Bharatiya brothers and sisters to your own country of origin, that is India. Thank you. Jai Hind.
An address by His Excellency the President of the Republic of India, His Excellency Ram Nath
Thank you
Kovind,
very much,
14th
Your
President
Excellency.
of
Please
the
put your
Republic
hands
of
together
India.
once for an
As we
appreciation
continue and we
of your
get closer to the close of the
Honorable
formal
President
proceedings
of
here
India,
in
who's
Calder.
here with us today.
The next portion
Ladies
will
and
be a
gentlemen, I
journey
would
to
just
the
like to
area where the
invite at
signage
this time to
is
move the
located
vote of
for
thanks,
this
Mr. David
renaming of the
Ortiz.
road.
He's the
So
Vice
up next,
President
David
of the
Ortiz, the
SVG Indian
Vice President
Heritage
of the
Foundation.
SVG Indian Heritage Foundation, providing a vote of thanks for those gathered here this afternoon.
Good afternoon. I was asked to say thank you and to be short. So thank you. Goodbye. Now that I have your attention, the privilege is mine to offer the vote of thanks to everyone who participated or contributed to this momentous occasion. Your Excellency, Honorable Shri Ramnath Kovind, President of the Republic of India and family, Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Ralphie Gonsalves, Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Montgomery Daniel, Honorable Minister Augustus Stevenson, Area Representative for South Windward, the Executive of the Indian Heritage Foundation, Parliamentary Ministers for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and for the Republic of India, Ambassador Shankar Balakantran and his wife, on behalf of the Government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the St. Vincent Indian Heritage Foundation, we wish to express our heartfelt thanks to you and the following. Special thank you to Ms. Dion John for chairing this ceremony. We thank Ms. Anjana Kumari for both the prayer and the Kathak dance performance, which will be remembered for some time to come. And if any of you would like to learn, she's a dance teacher at the Cultural Center in Suriname, so you know where you can go for lessons. Ms. Kumari, we thank you for your performance. Our national anthem was so ably presented on steel pan by Saeed Borman, and we thank him for giving our guests a taste of the steel pan. I'm sure that Minister Stevenson is elated that this visitor has come to his constituency. As I recall, he never fails to remind us that the Argyle International Airport is in his constituency. We thank him for his welcome remarks. The next item was brought to us by the students of the Calder Government School with their choral speech, and we thank them as undoubtedly they would have had to put in some time in practicing their presentation. As expected, our Prime Minister has given us a glimpse of history, and we thank him for his kind remarks and continued support towards the Indian Heritage Foundation. Thanks is also extended to the Calder SDA Church and the Touch of Pearl for the use of their premises in providing comfort stations. We also thank the various ministries and organizing committees for the planning of this program and preparing the site on which we are gathered. This function would not have been possible had it not been for the official state visit of His Excellency Sri Ram Nath Kovind, who chose St. Vincent, though small in size, to be part of his official visit to the Caribbean, and for choosing the community of Calder, where history was made today. We thank you, Your Excellency. And last, but certainly not least, we thank all of you, the members of the Calder community and other communities who have taken the time and made a special effort to attend. We thank you for your presence. To one and all, thank you.
The vote of thanks being delivered by the Vice President of the SVG Indian Heritage Foundation, bringing to a conclusion the formal proceedings. Following this portion, there'll be a time for a photo op with members of the Indian community. And
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you
the other
so
part
much
will
for
be
being
the
such a
revealing
wonderful audience
of the
this afternoon.
signage
We
that
have come
declares
to the formal
the
end of proceedings
Calder
here
Road
this afternoon,
officially
but
renamed
we
to India
have
Drive.
opportunities for the
And
Indian community and
I'm
other
sure that many
members
will be
who would like
following
to take pictures
their
with His
photo moment
Excellency.
will be
So we'll ask
happening
the
right now.
members of the family of His
So
Excellency
I believe we'll go in a
to
particular
first
order
go across
where
where
the
they're
photos will
setting
be
up
taking.
the photo stations there. I assume a protocol officer is going to assist. So one of the protocol officers, please assist with this process, and His Excellency and our Prime Minister will join shortly thereafter to facilitate the pictures. So we just ask you to bear with us for a while, and they're going to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to get their pictures if that's what you request. So thank you so much. I just want to wish everyone a wonderful time and to travel back to your respective locations safely.
So as we bring to a formal end the ceremonial aspect of this afternoon's proceedings, and the photo op now going ahead, we'll see now the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, accompanied by His Excellency the President, Mr. Ram Nath Kovind, and of course the president taking the opportunity to greet a few members of the community as well. I see that they're moving swiftly to a location. Believe that he'll be doing a bit of interaction there, moving quickly with his security detail. But the photo moment is what is happening right now. A photo op taking place just in front of where the proceedings happened. And joined by the MC who took care of the proceedings on the other side, Miss Dion John. I'm sure that was quite an experience, especially with the names. I know we had to make sure that we get all of the names, and you did do some practice with the names.
Well, thanks very much to you for all the assistance. It was actually one of the more tedious events of these natures that I've had to host so far because of many challenges, which it's not for me to disclose at this time. But certainly once it started, it was an enjoyable experience. And it's always for me country first, less of me and more of country, and more celebrating St. Vincent and the Grenadines, celebrating Vincentian culture. And certainly it has been a wonderful opportunity for all of us, and I'm grateful for the opportunity and the experience altogether. And basically this concludes our broadcast and basically our coverage of the official visit of the Indian Prime Minister to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and his wife and his daughter. It has been 2 days of long but very interesting activities and events here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Our coverage started from the Argyle International Airport, and then we continued from the cruise ship terminal that same afternoon, where the officials also had an opportunity to travel down to the leeward side. And I'm sure you can say what happened today. What happened today?
Oh, so many things happened in one go today. We started off this morning at Government House with the signing of the MOUs. The Botanic Gardens was another of a highlight event. And after that, when we wrapped up, we headed to the Parliament for the address to the Parliament by His Excellency the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition. And now we're closing off the afternoon as we wrap up here in the community of Calder, and this is where it all comes to climax in terms of our coverage. Of course, there will be continued coverage on the various platforms. You will get the still images. Of course, we'll continue to share the still images from our local media internally, and of course, if we are following what's happening with the international media as well, we'll be sure to share those across our various platforms.
And I think I want to apologize. I said Indian Prime Minister, but really it's the Indian President. Yes. And thank you so much to our production crew for alerting me to that error. There are so many persons who are involved in our coverage in one way or the other. And I think as we begin to conclude here this afternoon from the community of Calder, now is a good time for us to thank all those who have been involved. All our productions over the last 2 days have been produced jointly by the Agency for Public Information, VC3 Television, and the National Broadcasting Corporation. And we just want to thank each and every member of the respective teams individually and collectively. Any success we achieve from the coverage of the last 2 days can only be attributed to teamwork. And we just want to thank everyone for their support and letting us know, letting us get an opportunity, of course, to do this on behalf of all nations, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Colvin, you have the list.
Yes, I do. I do have a list here. I'm hoping that I captured everyone, but I've been taking note of the names of the individuals working alongside us. And it started yesterday, continued into today. And many of those individuals shared both yesterday and today with us. But we had a much larger team today. Thanks very much to the production guys, Jeremy Duncan, Antonio Richards, and those from the API's end in terms of the production. The others from API, Simeon Kamabach on camera, Bavin Oliver, who was with the party to bring us updates as well. Christopher Etienne on camera, a guy, Alonzo Sayers and Tyrone Jordan. Simish Oliver provided the stills. Brad Harris, the driver. We also had Trevor Macmillan, who captured some of the images on the cruise yesterday down the Leeward Coast, among other items. The logistical end of it, taking care of the local media as well. And in the back end, Nadia Slater, Deputy Director of the Agency for Public Information. On BC3's end, of course, we have Rohan Zoro Bennett, who was at Master Control, along with Alonzo Beck, Stephen, and the driver for VC3, Kalian Marshall, who was so ably moving everyone around.
And we can't forget from VC3, Lindell Tim, and of course, Amandel Chance, who were a part of the broadcast and came on to the team today.
Yes, so those were the additions to the team today. And of course, here at Calder, we wrap up with a full team. Of course, we say thanks as well to you, Dion, for leading the team on NBC's end. Thanks as well to Javed Roberts, our Deputy Technical Director, who is on duty here today. At Master Control, Cassius Cruikshank, who took care of the afternoon broadcast. This morning, we had Donnie Collins at Master, Ezra Smith, and also Johnny P. Straker, who was there from earlier as well. Thanks to you as well. All of those responsible for making sure that in some way or some form of fashion assisted in the broadcast, we say thanks to you.
And of course, we can't forget Ezra Smith,
Yes,
who of course brought us here safely. And Colvin, let me take the opportunity as well to thank you. When I say that what we have done over the last 2 days is a team effort, I can't say it enough. This is the combined effort of each and every one of us. We have sat and we have discussed how best we can give coverage to the events over the next couple days. And we just want to let the other local media who were not given the opportunity to cover for one reason or the other, that we do have the still images and the videos and the audios, and we are making those available so that you can have the opportunity as well to cover on your respective platforms. So please do not feel any way. That is something that we have readily available, and we will send that to you. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank as well Anthony Denny, who provided logistical support and received some additional support from the National Lotteries Authority. And some members of our team are out because they are ill, and they also checked in with us. You know who you are, and we want to thank you. We want to thank you tremendously, and at the same time want to use this opportunity to wish you a very speedy recovery, and we look forward to having you back as soon as possible. So from all of us here at Calder, where we're here to bring you the ceremony which really will unveil the plaque for the renaming of the street to India Drive. My name is Dion John.
and I'm Calvin Harry, and we say thank you for joining us and hope that you will stay tuned to the various platforms. Channel 114, VC3 Television, the social media pages of VC3 Television, the National Broadcasting Corporation, the Agency for Public Information, and of course those on 107.5, 90.7 FM, www.nbcsbg.com. Channel 787 on cable. Thanks very much. You want to add something?
Well, I just remembered, Colvin, that there is of course some activities which are taking place tomorrow.
Yes.
And while we are not bringing live coverage of those activities on any of the platforms, we'll also have the photos and the videos available to share with the media as well. So tomorrow there will be a trip to Canouan, where the president and his delegation will travel down to Canouan as guest of our Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves. And later on in that evening, there will be a cocktail, but we will also share with you the stills and, of course, the videos from both ceremonies as part of our overall coverage.
Yes, and on that note, we say so long from all of us. We say so long and wishing you a safe and a productive evening into the weekend. And we hope that you would stay with the various platforms. From Calder, it's good afternoon and goodbye for now.